Thank you so much for that introduction, Olivia. I'm thrilled to be here. Picture a 9-year-old, tall, uncoordinated girl playing the best basketball game she can. That's me. Though I was raised by upper middle class parents in mostly white suburban New Jersey, I would later realize that my Blackness was a barrier to experiencing the belonging I so desperately craved. One game in particular still echoes in my mind. I amassed enough fouls to be benched for the game. After apologizing profusely to the many short white girls I bumped into, I couldn't understand why I was relegated to the bench. I cried to my parents, sharing with them that I didn't mean to hurt anyone. But what the referee and opposing team's parents didn't realize was that I wasn't a threat to their precious daughters. I was someone's precious little girl too. My only refuge from this and a host of other alienating experiences growing up was in the woods. Nature was my original safe space, away from the white gaze that was constantly upon me, waiting expectantly for me to be anything other than what I was, a curious, excitable ray of sunshine. In nature, I felt peace and comfort amongst the leaves and branches of the trees I now work to plant and care for today. For too many people of color in cities across our country, nature isn't an option as a place of refuge. Trees and green space often aren't nearby at all. And that's by design. Racist development policies like redlining have caused communities of color to have about half as much tree cover as wealthier, whiter neighborhoods. As a result, people of color in these areas are left unprotected from the effects of extreme heat and severe weather events, things we know are exacerbated by climate change. That's why at American Forest, my colleagues and I are working to achieve tree equity so that everyone can receive the health, wealth, and climate resilience benefits that trees provide. Trees clean our air, reduce flooding, and cool neighborhoods with their shade. They provide a host of physical and mental health benefits and generate jobs. But as long as our society continues to view people of color like me as threats, we won't be able to protect ourselves from the real threats that social inequity and climate change pose to our communities. The work I lead at American Forest gives me hope that it's possible to address social, environmental, and economic justice in one fell swoop. The people who plant and care for trees are mostly white and mostly men. Yet thousands of job openings exist, which pay on average about $44,000 annually, with no degree or experience required. But even with the acute labor shortage we are facing today, women and people of color are severely underrepresented in tree care. And many employers still see people like me as a threat. My team is working to fix that. A recent study by the Forest Service noted that in order to achieve tree equity in the United States, we must plant and care for 31.4 million trees on an annual basis. That's more than double the trees we plant and maintain now, and way more than our current workforce can handle. Through our Tree Equity Career Pathways program, we are diversifying the field by working with employers to help them break down systemic barriers to racial equity and inclusion. We support paid training, placement, and wraparound services to ensure that new hires of color can have a smoothly transition into the workplace. Soon, we will incubate new businesses run by people of color, adding to the 25% of tree trimmers and pruners who are already self-employed. I was one of those entrepreneurs a few years back before joining American Forest to start this initiative. As a girl roaming in the woods, I never thought I would end up running my own firm decades later, helping the forestry field welcome more people of color. Join me to create the next generation of environmental stewards. Join me to fight for tree equity and bring the benefits of trees to all. Here's a short video message from SZA, who will share more about our latest project.
The climate crisis is already here, and it's hitting Black, Brown, and Indigenous communities the hardest. Some are 20 degrees hotter than whiter neighborhoods in the same city. That's why Tazo, American Forest, and I launched the Tree Corps, a paid workforce to fight for climate justice. Join us.